to shift gears and let's talk about some awards in the NBA. Of course, we're still a good 2, 3 weeks out from the regular season, well, from the start of the preseason. Um, but man, I'm getting those good feelings. I'm excited for the NBA to come back. Ilya, I'm not familiar who your favorite team is. If you want to inform us there.
Yeah, man, the LA Clippers. Been repping them since like mid Lob City, so I've been through it all.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So, you being a Clippers fan, Shane being a Warriors fan, me being a Knicks fan, we have at least three teams that are going to be in playoff hopes amongst us. I'm sorry, Dakota.
Yep.
Uh, but
Hey man, it's a struggle out here in Portland right now.
yeah, man. But I want to go through some of these categories a year removed, so we can go back and watch this video in May and see who our predictions or dark horse candidates were for some of these awards. Starting out with Rookie of the Year, I want to see where y'all minds are at there.
Man, that's a good one. I'm probably gonna go with the goat, Bronny James. No, I'll go with the. Honestly, the thing is, I haven't kept up on who's projecting to like actually get playing time as a rookie.
Mhm.
So I think I'm gonna go with the safe pick and one of the safe picks and go with Klingon out in Portland.
I like that
Respect,
pick. I like
I
respect.
that.
will. I'll give Portland a little bit of due respect because I know that I rip on them a lot. So
I'm trying to think myself. Oh man, it's kind of a combination of the draft class being a little underwhelming, and then also just like the teams they've been drafted to already kind of having a direction. So
it is. My other pick was Zach Eady. So
that's fair.
those were the two that I was like I could just name those two guys.
Mhm.
The other guy I could thought about, but I don't know. I don't even remember where he went. Was the point guard at UConn?
Oh, Stephon Castle.
No, who's the Newton or Newsom? Maybe he didn't go to the draft. I don't know. I didn't pay too much attention this year, admittingly.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm gonna get a little hot take-ish, and I'm gonna say Dalton Connect with the Lakers.
Mm,
Uh, I
dark
know.
horse.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dalton Connect because I feel like right now he's not gonna get much playing time, but I think he's gonna earn his way into the rotation. He's kind of like, in my opinion, like if Austin Reeves was more of a scorer. So I think that he can crack that rotation, and I think that once he does, having the Lakers bias as well as just him being a dog, I think he can get some Rookie of the Year pulls.
Me
I
personally,
like it.
I know, Reed Shepard. He had a lot of hype in summer league. He was going off. He had the whole NBA world pretty much shook. With Alex Sarr was struggling a little bit. Reese Shea was struggling a little bit. Um, I want to say Reed Shepard, but I know their guard rotation is really stacked with Van Vliet and Jalen Green and
Mhm.
Amin Thompson. So my pick would probably be Rob Dillingham. I think him being traded to the Timberwolves was huge. The Timberwolves last season went on a crazy run. And then you add Dillingham. He's already pretty much in a winning situation. He has Mike Conley to learn from. He has obviously Anthony Edwards to learn from. So I think that he already has a great skill set. So you just kind of it translates to the league. It's a modern day skill set. So I mean, after a little while, he's going to be just fine. in the league. I think that's my pick for rookie of the year.
I
I
dig it.
guess that leaves it to me, and my pick is going to be Stephon Castle out of Connecticut. I think at some point this season, Chris Paul is going to fall to the bench in San Antonio.
Yeah,
Devin
amen.
Vassell is going to be the point guard in San Antonio, which opens up the spot for Castle to take over the starting shooting guard position. And once he gets that shot, I think he's just going to take off.
For sure. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I think that him and Wemby are going to get along well too.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy I was thinking of, I looked at it. It's Tristan Newton. Tristan Newton was the guy I was thinking of, and I don't know why I thought of him. But another one that you guys didn't say that I'll throw out also is Reed Shepherd.
For sure.
Because he went to the Rockets, who he probably could get a little bit of playing time over there. So
Got to keep in mind though, they do have a stacked guard.
that is true.
rotation.
That is true. So maybe I'll pull his name. Never mind. I think that.
That's what Iliyan just said a little bit ago. So.
Oh, I was too busy looking it up.
All right. One of my favorite awards that I look forward to every year is the Defensive Player of the Year award. I feel like most people are assuming that it's Wemby's to lose this year. What are y'all thinking?
100% agree. I mean, he was dominant. You know, he's long, skilled, swatting shots left and right at the rim. I mean, a lot of people doubted him because of his size in the paint, but he immediately showed that it was nothing. I mean, I think that award is all going to be his this year. I mean, I don't think he might have some competition, but there's Giannis. He's in the talks every year. I do expect Drew Holiday to be in there this year, but I think it's Wemby's to lose, like you said.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty cut and dry. Not much to it.
Yeah, I would have to agree, but, Rudy Gobert is going to put up a really good fight for that award. He does every single year. I mean, he's arguably the best defensive player in the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
Until the playoffs, but it is a regular season award, so.
Yeah, I think that Wemby has the perfect storm of just being unlike any player we've ever seen before, and then also having the media hype behind him. So yeah, I do think that he'll probably win Depoy this year, but I expect Bam Adebayo to get some shouts too. Bam's been one of the best defenders in the league over the past couple of seasons, and I feel like he's always just short of the Depoy. So I'm hoping that he puts up a good fight for it.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
What are you guys feeling for Sixth Man of the Year? It's kind of a hard one to predict out the gate.
Yeah. You gotta just think. That's tough. That is tough.
I've got to say Naz Reid again. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time in Minnesota once again. He's their only backup big man outside of, I don't even know, Rob Dillingham's a point guard, so that, yeah. So, Naz Reid, obviously, for me, he's their only backup big man, like I said. He gets a lot of playing time, whether it be at the 4, whether it be at the 5.
And Bro can
that's my pick.
shoot.
Yeah,
that's true.
Sniper.
I hate it. It's the Naz Reid curse. Whenever he goes into Golden State, he has just a big game. It's every single time, and it pisses me off.
That's dope. I think I'm gonna go with 2 names just to look out for. One being Malik Monk, of course. I think that he is probably one of the best pure scorers in the league right now, just in terms of a guy that you'll send out there to go get you a bucket. And I think that having DeMar DeRozan in that starting lineup now, it's going to have less pressure on Malik Monk to be in the lineup with them. So I think they're going to roll with Kevin Huerter alongside Fox and DeRozan. And I think they're just going to give Malik Monk the keys off the bench, and I can expect him to go crazy with it. And then another name that I would look out for is Isaiah Joe in OKC. I think that right now, what I predict their lineup to be is that I'm going to see either Caruso or Dort in that starting lineup, and whichever one isn't starting is going to be on the bench, like kind of leading them defensively. But you look at OKC's bench, it's like a lot of defensive-oriented guys. You got Cason Wallace, you got Aaron Wiggins, you got Dort or Caruso. Isaiah Joe's really the only guy that's coming off the bench and giving you points. So I expect him to really like step up this year. He's one of the best 3-point shooters, percentage wise, and so I can see him coming in and being like a Miami Heat Ray Allen, coming off the bench and just spraying threes when you need them.
I agree. I think Isaiah Joe's a great pick. I watched the Thunder a lot last season, and I genuinely cannot remember a time that man missed a three. He is a lights out 3-point shooter.
Yeah,
Malik Monk, another great pick. I think if he didn't get hurt last year, I think he would have won it. And if the Kings had won more games. But my pick for this year, and this might be a little bit biased, I'm going to go with Norman Powell. I think at the least last season, he deserved to be a finalist. I mean, he shot well over 40%. I mean, came in clutch so many times for the Clippers last season. He was in the closeout lineups a lot for Tyronn Lue, and he did not disappoint at all. He was always hitting clutch shots, aggressive at the rim. He had a windmill later in the season. He played really well. We had a close battle with the Timberwolves late last season, and he just went nuts in the clutch. So I do think that Norman Powell deserved to be in the finalists, and that's my sleeper pick for this year.
for sure. Shane, what you thinking?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with Nasri too. Just thinking about it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I can't really think. Just the way he plays and their play style, and watching him, just even in the playoffs last year, they utilized him a lot. And one of the keys to winning Sixth Man of the Year is not just being a sixth man, but it's also getting good minutes, quality minutes.
Yeah.
And Nas gets a lot of those.
For sure. Switching gears, kind of, this would be like a 2-in-1. I wanted to talk about some players that you guys would think would have a breakout season next year, and what better way to talk about breakout seasons than the Most Improved Player Award? And Shane, I think you're gonna like my pick a lot. I'm giving it to Jonathan Kuminga. I think that I think that he's primed for a big year. I think that he's going to be expected to have like more responsibilities. You know, Draymond Green is the culture piece, but sooner or later, Steve Kerr's got to realize, you know, we have to have a core after Curry and Draymond is gone. Losing Clay was the first domino to fall, and I think Kuminga is going to step up and be at least a 20-point per game scorer this year. I think that he is going to be a consistent starter. I wouldn't say an all-star just yet, but I can see him making that jump from, you know, quality young role player to actual legitimate second best player on the team.
That's a great pick. Love it. That's great.
I'll go next here. I might be a little biased, but
Of course he will.
I'm gonna go with Scoot Henderson.
Of course.
I mean, the man balled out, you know, in the second half of the season. After he got those glasses, you know, after like the first month of the season, you know, he was making some significant strides. I just looked it up. Post All-Star, you know, he was averaging 16.6 points, 7 assists, 1 steal per game. He was fouling out less. He was rebounding more. You know, the list goes on. You know, his stats just took a significant jump once he found his stride in Portland, and I think Chauncey Billups is going to utilize him a lot more this next year. At some point, I do think the Blazers are going to trade away either one of the guards, and I think the odd man out is going to be my boy Anthony Simons, which is going to open up the door for Scoot to get a lot more scoring.
I dig it.
Great. I think that was a great pick. I wrote an article about that not too long ago, about Scoot Henderson breaking out this season. I expect it. But my pick for a breakout player would be Jalen Johnson from the Atlanta Hawks. He had a great season last season. I mean, he averaged almost 16 and 9. But with DeJounte Murray now in New Orleans, I think that him and Trae Young are going to absolutely tear up the city of Atlanta. I mean, it's nobody else. It's really just those two. He's a second option. He's going to be getting a lot more looks. He improved 3-point shot. He's great in the mid-range, great at the rim. I mean, well, there's nothing not to like about his game. So I think he's my breakout player for next year.
For sure.
So I'm gonna one up Dakota here, and I'm not gonna have just one biased pick. I'm gonna have two. Okay, and ironically, neither of them are Kaminga. Um, First, I have Brandon Pajemski, or I think
But
Pods. He is in my opinion, or he should be the one to replace Clay on that starting lineup. He did basically all season last year, with Clay being on the bench, and I think now that Clay isn't there anymore, it's just going to open him up. They're super high on him. He is the reason they didn't get Laurie, because they were swearing not to. They did not want to move off him. They see him as part of their future, 110%, and I think he's going to get the looks. Steph's got the faith in him. I can tell. So I love that. And then another one, I don't think it'll happen, but just because of how last year went, if he just has a good season, I think you could make the argument, and it's Andrew Wiggins. He just didn't have the greatest season because he was dealing with a lot of personal stuff, in and out of having to go and deal with that stuff, and so he never really got into a true rhythm, and a lot of the fans kind of were harping on him, and I'm sure he saw all that, and it probably took a little bit of a toll as well. But I think with the new season, unfortunately, for the wrong reasons, he's been able to put everything that's happened behind him, in the past with his dad. But I think if he's still a great player. I think him and Kaminga and Draymond are going to be the defensive cornerstones on that team, and along with Gary Payton, but he'll be more so off the bench. But those are my two I'll throw out. So don't worry, Dakota, you're not the only one being a little biased in this section.
And we want to save the best award for last. Who is your pick preseason to be the 2025 NBA MVP?
Who's going first? I'm not going first.
I got it. I'll break the ice. I think that this year is the year for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think that he was very, very close last year. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he finished second. I just think that everything that made him valuable last year, taking the Thunder to the number one seed, leading them to 57 wins, averaging 31 points, I think it's going to be elevated because he has a better team. I think that, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the type of guy who you're going to get the same production from no matter what. I see him going out there giving you 31, 6, and 7 on efficient splits. But the difference is we're going from a Thunder team that's winning 57 games to a Thunder team that could win 65 games. And I think, if you're the best player on a team in that position, and you're as consistent as Shai is on both sides of the ball, I don't think that there's any denying him from being MVP if the Thunder are as good as we think they're going to be.
I agree. I'm going to double down on. Oh, you want to go? Go for it.
No,
go for it. Take the floor.
I was going to say, I dig the pick. I'm going to double down on that as well. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was absolutely amazing last year. He was truly the most valuable player to his team. So, yeah.
Well, I guess I'm going to triple down on that pick. I'm a Clippers fan, so I'm a little salty that we don't have him anymore. But I believe for years now that the best player on the best team deserves to be the MVP. And I think next season, as Jayden mentioned, they added a bunch of talent. They added Caruso. They added Isaiah Hartenstein, who is a really, really sleeper addition in the offseason. He's going to be huge for for OKC next season. Best player on the best team, I think, deserves to win it. And 31, 6, and 7 on a 65-win team. I mean, that's, in my opinion, should be unanimous. I don't think anyone else deserves that. I mean, that's by far the most valuable in the league. So, yeah, my pick would be SGA.
See, I was going to double down, and then I was going to triple down. I don't feel like quadding down. So, I'm going to throw a switch here. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to say I'm just kidding. I'm going SGA. I'm gonna do it. I think he should have had more of a chance to win it last year. I think everyone's just obsessed with big men right now, and I think it's gonna die hopefully soon. Don't get me wrong; they're valuable, but I think this whole like craze is a little. It's getting a little out of hand. So I think SGA should have had a little more love last year. I think this year he finally does it.
For sure. For sure. You know, the way that we were pausing in the beginning, it looked like it was going to be controversial. But, I mean, you've heard it here first. The Phantom Sports panel, Shay, if you're listening, man, prove us right, please.
Don't make us look stupid.